Hey guys, and welcome back to Jalen Says. And today we are with another person that does all these incredible things. He's an actor, he's a director, he's a producer, he's a marketer. He does a lot of stuff. And I mean, to introduce himself even further, Mr. Carl Gilliard.
Hello there, Jalen.
Hi, how are you doing today?
Good, man. How you doing?
Great, great. My mom said hi, but
Hello there, Mom.
yeah. So to get the audience started, who are you?
Who am I? Well, I'm a child of God. You mentioned some things that I do, but at my core, I'm a child of God I love people. I love the business of entertainment, and I try to operate within my scheme of servitude as much as possible while I'm having fun at the same time.
Wow. So
I don't know. That's pretty much what I would say.
yes. So you have yourself your own podcast, you are an acting coach, and you do
hmm
all these things. So to get this started, what were your upcomings and why did you want to go into this career?
My upcomings. What do you mean by that? What's an upcoming?
Oh well, your uproots. What how did you first
Oh. You mean
like
where I'm from, Jalen?
yes, before you even started acting, what was your
Well, it all started when I was in the womb of my mama. I'm kidding. I'm joking a little bit. I was born in Chicago. My mom and my dad are from the South, but they moved to Chicago in their 20s, and I was born there in the 1950s, and went through elementary school in Chicago, went to Detroit in middle school, went to middle school and high school in Detroit. Got hooked into acting actually very early, but never really saw it as a possibility for myself. But since I was 5, 6 years old, I've always loved film, television, just enamored and consumed by going to the movies and watching television as a kid. Okay, fast forward, Detroit, Michigan State, majored in communications and public relations, government, political science. Came out of that, went to work for Eastman Kodak, and then went to Pepsi in Kalamazoo, Michigan, where I got involved in community theater. Started doing that and said, you know what, I'm going to go for it. And moved from Kalamazoo in 1985 to Los Angeles, where I started doing theater while I worked at the LA Times. And that turned into commercials and television and, theater. And here I am. That's the short version, Jalen.
so since you just said you didn't really think acting was going to be the career path, what did you think it was going to be?
More traditional, something, just get out of college, get a job, working for somebody. There was a time when I wanted to be a lawyer, which a lot of people say that maybe I would have been a good lawyer because I talk a lot and like to talk. But when I came out of college, I was working in the area of sales and marketing. So I worked in advertising for many years and sales for a few years before the advertising binge. And just, I would have been, it's interesting that you asked that because the sales background that I have has been very, very helpful to me as an actor and producer. So,
And how has that been helpful for you?
well, because acting is not just about the craft, although it's hugely important. You still have to sell yourself. And then as a producer, you have to sell your projects you're involved in. You have to sell and market those projects so people watch them. And you shouldn't take it personally when people tell you no. When you're selling, you get told no all the time. And it's also true as an actor and as a producer in this business. You get told no all the time. But you have to get back up, keep going, keep selling, keep going, keep going, keep going. And so sales actually prepared me for what I'm doing now.
Wow. So, sales, what was your life like in that, I guess, more corporate side of America and then switching over to this other field entirely for career?
Well, I tell you this much, Jalen. There's not like a good old regular paycheck, Jalen. As actors, we get paid in clumps. We get paid when we work. When I was selling and working for, I worked for Eastman Kodak, I worked for Pepsi Cola, worked for the LA Times, Variety. I got a regular paycheck, and I got a bonus when I sold above a certain number. So I could always count on that security of a regular paycheck. And I did enjoy selling too because as I mentioned, I love people. So, you're interacting with people all the time. You're not stuck in the office. You're out talking about the product you're selling. So to some degree, I really enjoyed that. But I much prefer what I'm doing because this is closer to what I really, what's really a part of what my heart is. But they're related.
So what was that real push that made you want to switch from being having that security, as you say, to this is not?
Well, there were a series of things that happened. In my latest position at Variety, I was fired, laid off, let go, kicked to the curb. Jalen, you know what I'm saying? And when that happened, I had a rough time finding another job at that moment. And so I found myself thrust back into acting, and that's kind of how it's been since around 2002. I just never went back to selling again after that last. I've done other things since then. Just certain things that I do because most actors have kind of side hustles. But the thing about the side hustle that I've done since then has been something that more or less serves my acting rather than something that I'm going to do and not act. When I was working at Variety, for example, I could not act. Also, you have to do one or the other. You know.
All right. So you really thought communication when, I guess, early in your life, did you really think communication was what you're going to stick out with as your career?
Oh, that's a good point. So how that happened was there was a time when I thought that I was going to be a newscaster, and because it's funny, even though I loved entertainment and the movie and film business, I saw the broadcasting business as a compromise, and it just never really happened. I worked for a brief moment in broadcasting, but that never really happened. So that's how that worked out.
Well, talking about broadcasting and stuff and things of the matter, you now have your own podcast. How do I know you?
Yes.
And what sparked that up?
Well, again, I love actors, I love people, and there's a writer's strike going on right now, and it's slowed the flow of potential work tremendously. There aren't that many auditions, and there's not a lot going on. So the podcast was a way to stay creative. In terms of because the podcast I actually recorded on StreamYard like you. This I use StreamYard, and then I come back and I edit it together. I come back and I add B-roll and I add pictures and music and all that. So I edit them, and it's a way of being creative because I'm a creative guy. And then on top of that, I know a lot of people in the industry, so I bring them on and kind of talk to them and have a conversation and let the world peek into that and. It's just kind of a fun thing. I just really enjoy it a lot.
So do you have any goal with your podcast?
Yeah, I want to make $14 million by next year. Jalen, these are jokes. Come on,
I
Jalen.
mean, it's possible. It's possible.
Well, they're not really jokes. Yeah, I'm learning the podcast business. I'm learning what it is. I'm still learning. It is possible, actually. I think the "How do I know you" concept is a really good one, and it's really tailor made for me. So we gotta see what happens. My daughter actually works for the Obamas. What is the name of the Obamas company? I can't think of the name of the company, but they have a deal with Netflix, and my daughter works in their podcast division. It was really called Audio, and she worked before that for Spotify. So she's had been trying to get me to do a podcast. She's kind of too busy to help me with it now, but she kind of is the one who sparked my interest, a few years ago because she worked for Spotify for many years in their podcast division, their audio division. So, what's the name of the Obama's company? I can't remember the name of it, but if you look her up, Her name is Corinne Gilliard. She's an executive for them. Very proud of her, and she works in podcasts. So that's kind of what piqued my interest. I don't listen to podcasts, but I do watch a lot of YouTube. So that's
So
how
have
it got
there
started.
been any other things where you didn't really think of until someone kind of prescribed it to you?
I didn't think of this. It really came out of the fact that there was nothing to do, and someone here in Atlanta did bring it up. Big shout out to Tanita B. I was at an event and met her, and she's the one who first introduced the idea. And then my wife, of course, pushed me. I have a very pushy wife, but it's good. But it's good though because when your wife is pushing you to do something you should be doing in the first place, it's all right.
Yeah.
It's when the wife pushes you to do something you shouldn't be doing. That ain't so good. But it's in the area of my gifts that she pushes me, and that's good. That's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It's a
So
good thing.
what was also your push in your career as a whole, your career in communications and your career in acting?
What I didn't get your point there, Jalen.
What was your push for your career? What was your thing that kept you always moving in your career with both,
Just
actually?
raw desire. I mean, this business is the overnight sensations in acting take 20 years, sometimes longer. And I don't know what the push is. The push really is the drive and the love for it. It's like I'm self motivated. If that makes sense. At this point, I just love doing it. I'm not gonna do anything else. I'm too old to change course. So I'm gonna fly or I'm gonna crash. I'm not gonna crash, but I'm saying that it's do or die at this point. I'm not gonna. It's gonna be what it is.
So what moved you from being an actor to director and producer?
Natural progression. Um, I think that there's two things. The opportunities to direct came a little later, and I just seized them. And I am the type of director who's motivated by the material. So I don't get asked to direct a lot, which is weird because I'm really good at it and I enjoy it because that's kind of fueling my coaching business, in my acting class and such. But I'm driven by the material, and I don't put myself out there as a director as much as I probably should. But if the material turns me on, and there are good actors that I'm able to bring on board to direct a project, then I'm in. But I haven't directed that much. I've directed maybe three or four. I've directed maybe four plays. Four plays. I've directed a film and a film in 2004 or five. But I expect to be doing more of that in the future. I'm more leaning in toward producing more so.
Wow.
And that was teased and introduced to me by my mentor, Mr. Bill Duke. So Bill was the one who said to me back in 1998 or so that I needed to really diversify. And it doesn't really do an actor any good to be just waiting for the phone to ring. You need to get out there and create your own opportunities. And that's how the producer part came to fruition.
Yes, and I know you are in a partnership with Mr. Bill Duke, and we'll get into that later. But you talked about directing for plays and film. So, what
Hmm.
is your favorite out of the two, just to be in plays or film?
To direct?
Well, just to in the whole, plays or film.
Well, I'd have to say probably film at this point. I do enjoy theater. I'm doing a play right now that I'm looking forward to doing the play. But I have to say overall, probably film, television, film.
And why is that?
Money. Listen. Here's the deal. I do what I love, but at this point, I just want to be paid for it, and that's why most actors pivot to film, if they're honest. Even though I have a love for stage and love stage. In fact, if I could do stage and somehow get money, pummeled into my account while I'm doing the stage, okay, maybe I do enjoy doing stage more because if it weren't for the money part, I would prefer stage. I would.
So what about stage really entices you? Is it like the live
It's
reaction?
it's the adrenaline, it's the immediacy of the response from the audience, it's the momentary moment to moment thrill ride. It's like walking a tightrope. You don't know really what's going to happen next. You can't predict it. There's no take two. You leave it on the stage. You leave it on the boards, as they say. It's just exciting. It's nothing like doing a play and hearing that audience applause, or if it's a comedy, hearing people laugh at your character. It's just, it's exhilarating. It's a high. But, it's not for every actor because it's not easy. Whereas I'm not trying to say film is easy, but if you mess up, you can take two, you can take three.
You could take
You got you could got other angles coming at you that you can get warmed up.
you can't
You know,
in film. I mean, in plays, you can't turn around to talk to someone.
no, you just when it goes like that, when that curtain goes up, you are on, and there's no turning back. It's just I have a friend. In fact, she's going to be in my podcast. I've already recorded her. She's going to be out in maybe 3 weeks. Her name is Nikki Crawford, and Nikki just was nominated for a Tony. And the show that she did on Broadway just closed last week, and we were having the same conversation about her experience in this show. There's just nothing like it, you know. There's nothing like it, maybe one day I'll get to do Broadway. It's possible, you know.
Have you been
I'm not turning.
watch Broadway
Hmm.
live?
About what now?
I'll watch Broadway live.
Have I ever watched? Oh yeah, I've been to a Broadway show. Yes. You asked me if I've seen a Broadway show. Yes.
Yes.
Hmm.
So, what do you feel is different from Broadway to normal plays and
Well, Broadway is it's the pinnacle of the theater community. Okay, so meaning that it has a certain amount of prestige associated with it. It's Broadway. 8 shows a week, certain level of pay associated with that, the notoriety and possibility of being nominated for a Tony. It's the grand pinnacle of theater. So outside of that status of what theater is on Broadway, and most of the people who are on Broadway are in their A game. The directors, the set designers, you know, the actors, everybody on the Broadway level is the pinnacle of theater. But that said, outside of those things, there's no difference. I mean, you can still do really great theater all over the country, but it's not Broadway because it's just not.
so?
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, what is really your main big dream in acting, theater, or just in film?
My main big dream.
Yeah, what do you want to accomplish in the next year, or not like your final, not like your top of the mountain, but what is your milestone that you want to accomplish?
Uh, you know, I not to push off your question, but I am living my dream day to day. The journey that I'm on excites me, and there is much that I have left to do. Would I love to have a TV series? Yes. Are there a number of actors I'd like to work with in a film or on a limited series or something? Yes. And I know that those things are going to happen, but when they do, I won't be done. I'll just keep going. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I get
I
it.
mean the desire that every actor has, at least for me. Let me talk about me. Is to work steadily and consistently, but also to touch lives on some level by the work that I'm doing, but also who I am and how I'm able to touch lives and help elevate humanity in some way, whether it's from the roles that I play or whether it's from my personal involvement with people. with the touch that I have into people's lives and being touched also by people. Theater and television, though different, they're very interactive. You can be out at the store and someone has seen your work and they'll come up to you and they'll say, "Oh, I saw you in this. I loved your work." Or "The role you played touched me." Or "I saw your podcast and I really, really like what you said to this person." Or I love Roger Guinevere Smith and I really thank you for doing that because I learned something about him I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know when that ends until I'm basically gone. You know what I mean?
So, what kind of impression do you want to leave off on people in normal life and in the industry as well?
To be a blessing that they would be left different than they were before I came into their lives. Better off, blessed, more laughter. I don't. You know what? I never thought about that, but that's pretty much what I would say. We'll get off this show and then I'll think of some more things. But I would say that.
So, you talk about laughter, jokes, and stuff. Do you have plans of becoming a comedian?
Only at the comedy places that no one's watching that I know. I would love to do comedy, but I'm too chicken. I think that people who do comedy are, they might be the bravest, most courageous, creative geniuses in the business. To get up on stage with a microphone and some lights and keep people entertained for an hour is bananas. Maybe one day I'll do it, but I need a script.
Yeah, even when I'm like showing my friend a video or something that I think is funny, I'm just staring at them, hoping they'll laugh. Like, come on, please.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So, what are some things that you'd like to try out in the future? Maybe it's not like careers or like paths of entertainment and stuff like that, but what are just some hobbies that you'd like to try out?
Oh, the first thing that came to my mind, and I didn't say it, but I'm going to say it, is I have a friend who has a boat. And I think I want a yacht. And I want to yacht around a little bit. That'd be nice. Because I like the water, but I want to be safe in the water. I'm not trying to get out there like no little boat. You know what I'm saying? If I'm out on the water, it's going to be a nice size yacht.
All right. So, do you fish?
And traveling too. Fishing is something that I don't do, but I do want to do. I think I would enjoy that. And also traveling. Seeing other parts of the world and hanging out for extended periods of time. That kind of thing.
So, what is on your list to go and visit?
South Africa, Italy. I've been to Ghana before. I want to go back there. I just got back from Costa Rica. Places like Jamaica and the Bahamas. I've never been to the Caribbean really for any extended period of time. I did go on a cruise. No, you know what? Wait. I went on a Caribbean cruise back in 2012, and that was fun. You know what, too? I enjoy traveling in the continental United States. I enjoy going to New York, San Francisco. Well, not so much anymore, but I used to like going to San Francisco. But New York's great, Miami. So I like the States, too.
All right.
South America.
So, is there some places in the States that you haven't visited yet that you'd like to go to?
No. I used to want to go to Boston, and I went to Boston last year. But I want to go to Fenway Park because I'm a baseball fan. Well, I used to be a baseball fan, but I grew up on baseball, and Fenway is one of the oldest baseball parks in the country. Might be the oldest, maybe second to Wrigley Field, which I've been to several times in Chicago. But Boston, I would love to go there and go to Fenway. But I've been to Boston already, but I didn't go to the baseball game.
So, what kind of sports are you into now?
I'm not into any sport. I will watch a baseball game every now and then. Of course, when the NFL is out, I'm watching, NFL every week on some level. Not a whole like day of football, but I may catch a game, catch a Thursday night game. But I'm not a sports enthusiast in that regard. I just enjoy it when it's on, and I'm just lounging. You know.
Like with me anyway, like if someone says, "Hey, you want to watch the football?" I'm like, "No, I'm good." But if it's on, I'll watch it. And
Yeah, yeah. So, what grade are you in, Jalen?
I'm eighth going to ninth.
You're in eighth grade,
Yeah.
and you're interviewing people on TV in eighth grade.
I guess, yeah.
How long you been doing this?
Live anyway since the pandemic, but I've been doing it since like 2019, maybe late 2018.
Wow, that is so cool. That is so cool. Where do you live? Where do you live now?
Well, I'm in Georgia, There's a lot
You're
of
in Atlanta?
yeah, we moved down south, but I'm in Atlanta. I do a lot of stuff there. We recently I know this is kind of getting off topic, but I recently did the This Is It 40-year anniversary. I was interviewing people there, and videos about that's
Mm-hmm.
going to come out soon. And yeah, I've been
Very cool.
doing a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Okay. See how I turn the tables on you? See, I start asking you questions. You didn't see that coming, did you?
No, not at all.
It was on purpose. See how sneaky? I'm very sneaky, Jalen. Like that. I should start interviewing you. Now it's gonna be my show, interviewing you on your show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just,
Next
just
thing you
listen.
know, when you look down, it says, "How do I?" No, you. Like, how did I even get here?
I really appreciate you having me, man.
Well, yeah, me too. But yeah. So also with some of topics that you told me about, you are having a lot more upcoming projects with acting work and things like that.
Hmm.
So what are they?
Let me see. I have a movie coming out. With the movie's out, but it's being shown in certain theaters in the Midwest. It's called Silent Night in Algona, which I haven't seen it, but I'm hearing that it's very good. That's out there, and I'm looking to return to the family business on BET. They're currently shooting season 5, and I am coming back. On what level, I don't know for season 5, but I am coming back. And we're on strike. So right now, it's nothing really happening. Isn't that awful?
I mean, hey,
I'm kidding. No, it's not awful in the sense that it's necessary. So
it is
it's
necessary.
it's necessary for what we're fighting to gain in the business, but the part where you're not allowed or you can't work isn't fun.
Yeah,
But it's necessary.
it's necessary, but
It's it's a painful necessity,
yes, it's like
Jalen.
it's like waking up when you don't want to and having to go somewhere. You have to do it, but
Yeah,
it
yeah,
won't be fun.
yeah.
So also you have an acting class in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So what made you want to start doing acting classes?
Well, I've been coaching, solo coaching, for a while, and as I mentioned earlier, I enjoy directing. So this is a natural extension to my directing. And my wife, of course, pushed me. She's always pushing me to do things.
So was my mom. I mean,
You know what I'm saying? But
it's for
here
the better.
again, here again, pushing me in an area that I should be doing anyway.
Something for your own good.
Right. And I really enjoy it a lot. And I think that we're helping people, which is very, very important to me as well. And it's not just helping people, with the craft and helping them find their brilliance, but it's also creating relationships with people who did not know each other before the class so that they can create projects and they can have fellowship and have camaraderie and encourage each other. It's really cool. So, as I mentioned to you before, these are the things that matter to me. you know. So
All right. So, if your wife hasn't wouldn't have pushed you to do it, did you think you would have started an acting class?
no, I would have done it. I know I would have done it. I know I would have done it. It's because let me tell you why. Number one, fear, straight up fear that it's almost like throwing a birthday party and no one shows up. Hey, I'm having a birthday party. Ooh, ooh, throwing invitations, right? And then no one shows up. So that was a fear I had for doing it, that I would put it out there and no one would show up, which is silly, but that was the fear. So that was one reason why. And the second reason why was because I had an acting class several years ago in Los Angeles. And it wasn't a good experience for me because I had maybe 4 to 6 actors in the class. And they would not come to class with prepared work. So I would say, okay, go off and do your scenes, and you come back, you do the scenes. The whole point of the class is to have critique of the scene work done, have a discussion about the work to help grow actors. Well, they would not bring work in, and it was frustrating. I found myself, uh, you know, uh, lecturing for the whole 2 3 hours, and I didn't like that. So I didn't want to do that again. But what happened when we got here was the opposite. These actors are hungry. They come in with scene work. They're fun. They're enthusiastic. They have a lot of the high energy. So it's been a thrill because I'm able to do what I enjoy doing if I'm going to teach an acting class. So
So, do you think you might have any type of other classes for like directing or producing and just more industry related classes, stuff like that?
maybe I've produced panels in the past. You know what panels are?
Yes, yes.
So I've produced panels. I've done, when I used to run a drama and media ministry in Los Angeles at my church, I used to produce panels. And it's interesting because the panels are somewhat similar to what I do in my class. I bring in guests and I interview them. We talk about what they do. I've brought in directors, actors. I brought in costumers, and they talk about what they do. So that might be the next logical step, but we'll see.
All right. Okay. So, also, when you were talking about people who you met up with, helped you out, you talked about Bill Duke, who you're in partnership with, and you also have the Duke Media Group Youth Boot Camp, which was one of the
hmm
things on your website. So, what is the partnership about, and what is the boot camp?
Well, Bill has a nonprofit, and one of the initiatives in his nonprofit is a youth media and financial literacy boot camp, where we bring young people in a little older than you, actually, around high school age, and we teach them about media and financial literacy. And I was blessed to be able to create the curriculum with some help from a couple people for that class. And then we kind of ran the class. We've did it for a few years. It's not up and running right now, but it was good. That's pretty much what it was.
All right. All right. So, what plans do you have on? Do you have any other plans for encouraging the youth besides the boot camp?
Well, I'm encouraging youth right now. Look at you. Are you encouraged right now, Jalen?
I feel encouraged.
See,
I
right?
mean, yeah, I get, yeah.
Yeah. So do any of your friends watch your show?
Yes.
Okay, so hopefully, some of your friends, your eighth and ninth grade friends, will watch the show and say, "Wow, I really like the bald head black guy you had on. He was really, really inspiring."
All right.
But in terms of the youth, we never know what's going to happen next. What God's going to present. It could be youth classes. It could be something that's an offshoot of what Bill does. It could be more of what Bill does, and do another iteration of it. I don't know, but it's funny because I'm always in contact with young people, And I love the opportunity to be able to encourage and mentor young people. And that's an ongoing thing that I'll always do when given the opportunity.
Okay, okay. So
Yeah.
getting on to some other things you do, you used to really be into well, not be into, you used to have a career in sales advertisement. Does that help you? Because I heard you said it helps you with like no's. A lot of times you get no's, but does that help you like promote your acting and do stuff with the skills you learned back then?
It's the same thing. I mean, one part of what we do as actors, obviously, is people need to see that we can do the work and create the characters that they're looking to cast in their motion pictures and television projects. But also, once you get on these sets, you have to sell yourself. You have to find a way for your voice to be heard in a way that's acceptable, and that makes someone to bring you in again for something else. So it's never about the one job you're working on. It's about the job after that, and the job after that one, and the one after that one, and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 jobs after that one. It's always that. So, and then as a producer, if you're producing a project, you have to sell that project to somebody who may want to buy it from you. So there's a level of sales there, and it's benefit oriented sales. It's sales that, it's not like a hard sell, and you go and you want to buy my show. It's more like you create an environment where people say, I need your show. I need that on my network because I like it, right?
Yeah.
And that's selling.
Wow.
Yeah.
So also you have the Gilliard Media Group, and what is that about?
Well, it's about all the things we talked about. It's about my digital series, which is called 2 Degrees. It's on a black streamer called the Brick TV. We produced 2 seasons of that with me. I'm the lead actor, and I created the show. And then we also consult and produce other projects with other people. So people bring us on to help with them with casting, to help them with staffing their films, whether it be to find a director or find certain casting components they're missing. You would bring people together, which is mostly what we do. But we also actually produce projects as well, whether it's our projects or we partner with other entities and individuals to produce projects.
So
I'm looking
what
at these comments. I'm looking at these comments here so I can read. Oh, there it is. Okay,
so
okay.
what gives you the motivation to really, well, not the motivation, the creativity to make all these uh things happen with directing? Because directing, you have to move the pieces, find a way to fit it to make it look natural. And with creating the series, what gives you the creativity to do that?
Life, life. 2 degrees. There I am. That's the poster for season 2. It's life. That 2 degrees is based on my life. It's not on the nose. It's a comedy. It's silly. It's extreme, but it's my life. I went through a divorce some years ago, and the first season really focuses on what my experience was going through this divorce, but it's a comedy. So I don't take myself very seriously. I'm over the top silly in the show, but it's fun. And the second season kind of continues that whole theme into, more of the adventures of what I'm doing. Some of the things, like everybody plays themselves. I play myself in the show. Everybody in the show, with the exception of a couple of people, also play themselves. But it's not really them. It's not really who they are. Like one of my main antagonists, his name is Elliot. Elliot's the nicest guy ever. But in the show, he's a butthole. He's not a mean guy. We just have problems. We don't work out. We don't get along in the show. But he's playing Elliot. That's his name in the show. His name is really Elliot, if that makes sense. So the show is, I have fun on the show, and I bring all my friends on who are agree to do it, and we all have fun together shooting it, and it's fun. So you asked me where I get the creativity was. I kind of went on a tangent. It really is just the things that are already inside me. The ideas I have is, I think the best thing to do as a show creator, for me anyway, is write about your own experiences. Write about what touches you. Write about what makes you laugh or what entertains you. Write about the things that touch you to your core that you can then put on the page and it would resonate because it's humanity, right? So I'm talking about my divorce, for example, but lots of men and women have gone through divorce. So when they see my ridiculous life in full, in live and in full and living color, they connect to it because they went through the same thing. You know what I'm saying?
So with future projects that you will make, do you think of having a realistic tone to it with something people can relate to, or just have it something where people could find enjoyment with?
It's always about entertainment for me, and being educated, and connecting to their own humanity. But ultimately, you know, I see myself as an entertainer. I want you to laugh. I want you to be entertained.
Okay.
That's just me. That's me. I mean, somebody else may have another take, but that's what I do.
Wow. So also with some other projects that you produced, you also have a lot of projects that you produced that was in the Pan African Audience Award, that was in the Pan African Audience Award winning feature. So how does it feel to be recognized with all the great and amazing talents you have?
Oh, Jalen, who don't like to be recognized, man? Who don't want to win an Oscar or an award, man? It's cool. It's very cool. That award we won was for a film that we did called Retiring Tatiana. It was in 2000. It was the first film that I ever produced with anybody. My friend Tony Winters wrote it and produced it. I just kind of came on for the ride and helped him bring that story to the screen. But that film ended up winning the Audience Award at the Pan African Film Festival. I have since had other projects there. I didn't win anything, but I've had other projects in that festival. So, yeah, it's great.
Pretty cool. So we talked about a lot of stuff that you do with the industry and a lot of stuff that people might already know about you. But what are some things with life that people don't normally ask you about, or things that people don't normally know? What do you normally do if you have a blank day, what do you normally do to chill out and get an open space?
Well, my life right now, especially after moving to Georgia, is very, very routine. Like when I get off the phone off this with you, I gotta start cutting together my next "How Do I Know You," and also I'm gonna be doing an interview tomorrow with a friend of mine. His name is Tico Wells, and I've got to prep that. So that's what I'm gonna be doing later. I had an audition earlier. I sent the audition off to my manager, but what do people not know about me? I don't know. I don't know. I would say nothing. And then when I hang up, then it's gonna come to me. But right now, I would say no. I would say nothing.
I have those moments when I'm just like, oh man, I don't really think.
I don't know. I mean, I think when I was younger, maybe something might have been. I could have I could come up with something. But right now, it's like my life is very, very simple. That's on purpose. I like to relax. I like to hang out with my wife. I like to take drives. I go to the movies. I love going to the movies. But that's not a secret. People know I like the movies.
So, what's your favorite movie that you watched in the past year, and what's your favorite at all time?
Oh Lord, ooh, ho 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 ho. I don't, I don't have a favorite. I mean, I like James Bond films. I'm a populist. I like James Bond films. I like this film that Tom Hanks did called Road to Perdition. I like Sleepless in Seattle with Tom Hanks, another Tom Hanks film. I like Mission Impossible, which is going to be coming out next week, the new one. Action. I love action. I love comedies. Beverly Hills Cop. Some of the more recognized Eddie Murphy films. Beverly Hills Cop, Trading Places, 48 Hours. I love Dreamgirls, the musical version on television. I mean, not television, film. I love that. I mean, there's so many things. I mean, so many. And then today, with television being so fluid, I mean, there's so much on streaming now. Like Paramount Plus has all these great television shows like Yellowstone and what's the other one I can't think of? Oh my God,
There's so many.
Tulsa King with Sly Stallone. It's another one. Can't remember the name of it, but Jeremy Renner's in it. I mean, there's so much. The whole, and then going back, let's go back to the old time stuff. Lady Sings the Blues, Sounder. I mean, let's do it. I mean, there's I think that the reason why it's so hard for me to come up with a favorite one is because I could be moody. And depending upon the mood that I'm in, is going to be my favorite film. Like tomorrow, when I talk to Tico Wells was in the Five Heartbeats. You ever heard of the Five Heartbeats?
No,
Jalen, ask your mom about the Five Heartbeats. Okay, I know your mom knows the Five Heartbeats, but I love the Five Heartbeats, and Tico Wells was in the Five Heartbeats. It's a classic movie. Okay, tell your mama, say, Mom, what is the Five Heartbeats? I don't know if it's good for you. I don't know if it's rated R or not. You may not be able to. I think it's pretty well. It's got some stuff in it, but it's about this '60s singing group. You ever heard of the Temptations?
yes.
Okay, so the Five Heartbeats is based on the story of the Temptations. It's not on the nose, but it's based on that. So, so I love the Five Heartbeats. Tico Wells was one of the Five Heartbeats, and I'm going to be talking to him tomorrow.
Wow.
So I mean, I wish I could come up with one movie, and then I'm gonna hang up with you, and I'm gonna come up with about four other ones. You know? Do you like Star Wars?
Ah, you know, I heard it's really good, right? I really want to get into it. I've been watching a lot of other stuff, and I'm trying to finish it all. But like, I want to get into it so bad. But the first time I saw it was like when I was like 6, 7. I went into
Mm-hmm.
it. It wasn't the first movie or anything. I went into it. The first scene had
Mm-hmm.
a lot of blood, and I just went out like, no.
Wait a minute. Wait. Star Wars?
Yeah, the first scene. I'm pretty sure it was one of the later movies, but the first scene had a
They
little bit
have
of
blood
blood.
in Star Wars?
Yeah, a little bit of blood in it, and I just walked out of the theater
Ah!
just like, no, no, I'm never watching a
Ah!
PG-13 movie again.
Hilarious. You're like me. I don't like a lot of. I like action, but there's a certain different kind of action, like the new John Wick film, the John Wick. People love John Wick. John Wick is too much bloodletting. I don't like that type of action. But James Bond action without all that blood, now that's up by. I like James Bond action. I don't like John Wick action. Okay, I don't like all that blood either. So I'm with you with that, Jalen. What's your favorite movie?
Now, I don't know if it's just because it's like a nostalgic feeling, but I had this CD player. Something happened to it where the battery blew up, so I don't want to use
Mm-hmm.
that again. But
Mm-hmm.
I put the Mask seed in it. I watched it, and I was like, this is the best movie ever.
What's that?
The Mask.
Oh, The Mask. The Mask is hilarious.
Yeah.
So you like Jim Carrey?
Oh yeah. I like Jim
So you
Carrey and Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds? Yeah, that's kind of it's interesting because they have similar energy. So do you like Liar Liar?
I didn't see Liar Liar. I saw Almighty Bruce. I saw a lot of Jim Carrey movies, but I haven't seen Liar Liar yet. I saw it pop up on my recommended, but I haven't watched it yet.
I first of all, Jim Carrey is an example of how brilliant. I was talking to you about comedians earlier. A lot of comedians are brilliant actors, just brilliant actors, and Jim Carrey is one of those guys who is a brilliant actor. You know who's a brilliant actor too? I might get pushed back by some of you people watching this. he gets no credit for the kind of actor that he is Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart did a movie with Brian Cranston. Can't remember the name of the movie. He was really good in that. And he did this other movie where he played a daddy or something like that. He was a daddy. It was on Netflix. And then he did the film. They did that series with Wesley Snipes called True Story. He was really good in that. I just think the comedians. Mike Epps is a really good actor. Of course, Richard Pryor was brilliant. Eddie Murphy, of course, is brilliant. So comedians, I mean, just brilliant work. A lot of them do. So in terms of The Mask, you know what? If you like Jim Carrey, you make sure you watch Liar Liar.
I think just looked it up and I was like, wait a second, I watched this.
Jamie Foxx. So someone said that. Yes. Yeah.
Yes, Jamie Foxx. Yeah.
But Jamie Foxx. Let's talk about Jamie for a second. So, even though he is a comedian and he's funny, I don't see Jamie as a comic. What is Jamie? He's a comic. He's a singer. He's a pianist. I guess he got his star and his rise through his comedy, so that's legitimate. But I guess I could put him on that list. But he's just a lot of things, right? What do you think, Jalen?
I mean, in my opinion, I just listened to the Blame It on like the radio a little bit ago, and I was like, and my mom was talking about like, why didn't he release a lot more music? Because he has a voice, he could play piano, he does all these things, but most of his focusing is acting, and I'm not sure if he still does comedy now, but yeah, I mean, he does a lot of stuff. Yeah, Prodigy, he does a lot of stuff, and it's just it's crazy how he learned all those things with.
Yeah, the man is freaking brilliant, and he was a football player too. So he's like a modern day Paul Robeson, but more. You know what Paul Robeson is, Jalen?
Not at all, but I think I.
Okay, see, I'm gonna see. This is, you got a pen? I need to write this down. Write Paul Robeson. I want you to Google Paul Robeson. Okay. You Google Paul Robeson. Ask your mom about the 5 heartbeats. Okay.
All right.
I'm gonna turn the tables on you, Jalen. Yes. Paul Robeson. When I talk to you, in fact, I'm gonna call your mama and I'm gonna ask her in 2 days. Does Jalen know who Paul Robeson is? Okay.
All right.
I'm putting you on the spot. But it's all in love, Jalen. It's all in love. Just want to make sure you know.
I will watch the 5 heartbeats if my mom okays it. I already have Paul Robeson up. I'm gonna
Robeson. 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 I'm gonna put it in the. I'll put it in the chat for you right now so you can see it. Paul Robeson.
I mean, you're dropping a lot of people who do a lot of cool things, which is really cool. But I don't know how. But the main focus is you today, sir. Your podcaster is coming out. It's coming out the cage, sir. But wow. So, how did you learn that you had this?
Had what?
To talk to people.
Because I like to talk. I don't know. You want to hear a funny story? Funny story. So, I am 65. And I was born in 1958. Okay. Jalen.
Yes.
Who was president in 1958? Go. Wow. Jalen. Okay, I'm messing with you. Dwight D. Eisenhower was president in 1958. That's how long ago. So you had Eisenhower, you had Kennedy, he was president after that. Then you had Lyndon Baines Johnson. Then you had Trigger Dick Dixon. Then you had Gerald Ford, then Jimmy Carter, then Ronald Reagan. Then I'm giving you the lineup, okay? Then you had Bill Clinton. No, who was on? George Bush was after that. Then you had Bill Clinton. Then you had George W. Bush. Then you had Barack Obama, and then you had Donald Trump, and now we got Joe Biden. I just gave you the rundown. All right, so when I turned 3 years old in 1961, my mother said that I hadn't started talking yet. I was 3 and I couldn't talk. My mother was panicked. This dude ain't talking. She took me to the doctor, 3 years old, and the doctor told her, he says, there ain't nothing wrong with this dude. He's going to talk eventually. And she said, like, the next day I started talking, and I haven't shut up since. It's not funny, Jalen.
Like the next day, you're just like, "Why'd you take me to doctor? You know I can talk. you know I can talk.
You know I can talk. You know I can talk." So I mean, look, I'm learning in my older years to listen to, and I actually do enjoy listening. I love listening to people, but I like to talk. So it's just a natural kind of extension to what I do, is to talk to people on StreamYard and on YouTube. But I do like to listen to. When I talk to people and I find I'm talking too much, there's like an alarm that goes off and says, "Man, you talking too much. Shut up." Or have you ever talked to somebody who's like talking and they don't let you get a word in edgewise? Don't you hate that?
I mean, sometimes I talk too much. I don't think I'm that person, but sometimes my brain pops in like, don't you think you're talking a little too much, bro?
Right. But I'm talking about you. Like, if you're talking to somebody and they're just talking nonstop and they won't let you get a word in, and they'll talk for like 20, 30 minutes straight.
Especially
and you can't get a word in.
Conversation we're having about like two separate opinions, and they're just like,
right.
Yeah, but I let you speak. Why don't you let me? Well, you got to hear this though.
Right.
Then you got to hear this. Then you got to hear this. But did you hear that?
See, I don't think I'm that talker. I talk, but I do listen. But I can be. My opinions are strong. My presentation is very strong. So it might come off that I'm talking too much. But I do like to also listen. And it's interesting because a lot of people say that I talk too much. They talk too much. They're the ones that's projecting. They're projecting their talkativeness onto me.
You talk too much. Where did you think I got it from? I'm around here all the time.
Right. Exactly.
So, going back to your career, what do you want to have said you have done in the next, 2023? What do you want to say you have accomplished by 2025?
I need my own TV show. Okay, yesterday. I need my own TV show. Maybe I'll get a talk show. Maybe the podcast will produce my own talk show. I could be like the next David Letterman. That'd be nice. I don't know. You know what else I love to do? I would love to be a game show host. Isn't that random?
I mean, I get it.
Right. I could do that.
Yeah.
When I see Steve Harvey doing the pyramid, is that what no, he's not the pyramid. He does Family Feud, right? I could do that. I know that I could do that.
Do you think later, after like 10, 20 years of game show, you'd start to become a judge too?
A judge? A judge show?
Yes.
That'd be interesting. I would steer a lot of people wrong if I had a judge show. That may not work out too well. No, you know what? A judge show would be cool. That'd be interesting. Because I'm fair-minded. Yes. I think you're right, Jalen. I am fair-minded. You put a black robe onto me, put me in like a little, judge thing, and listen to both sides. I am fair. Yes. Let me put that on the list. Hold on a second.
All right. Okay.
Carl, judge show, game show, TV series. And these days, because people shoot, I can do all of it. I can shoot the judge show 2 days, then shoot the game show the second 2 days and get the Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. Shoot like 4 or 5 episodes a day, lock down that season in 3-4 weeks, and go on vacation. Done.
All right. Okay. Okay. So, are there some? I know I talked about. Wow. Our time is unfortunately up, but before that, I know I talked about hobbies and stuff. But do you cook?
Yes,
All right. I have to ask this question. What do you cook? Do you?
I cook a few things well. I don't cook a lot of things well. When I was a young man and I was dating, and I was a hotshot playboy, I cook a lot of stuff. I would cook stuff over, have invite ladies over, and I would wow them with my cuisine creations. Now I just cook a few things well. Like I cook hot wings in an air fryer. Oh, so good.
Mm.
Salmon croquettes. I am the master. Turkey spaghetti and meat sauce. I mean, these are things we use. Everybody does that. No, 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 you don't. Masterful. And my biggest thing that I do,
All right.
the people that I do that too. No, you don't. I do this.
It's my thing.
It's my thing. Yes, it's turkey chili. I'm telling you, my chili is sick. I bet some of you out there are saying, "Oh, I cook chili. I can cook chili. No, 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 you don't do it. No, you don't. Stop it. I do it."
The smile afterwards.
Okay, Jalen, I'm sorry, man. I'm just messing your show up. I'm just being silly.
No,
But you know what I'm
no.
saying.
It's about you. Yeah. But actually, unfortunately, our time has come to an end.
Oh, dang it.
Like I don't know how that happened because like it felt like a minute ago. I was looking at the clock and I was like, 20 minutes. All right. Look back up at the clock. 40 minutes.
That's because I talk too much.
Hey, you should hear
Your
me.
mom, your mom is gonna kill me. She's gonna say, "This man just acted nuts on my son's show." I'm sorry, mom. I'm sorry.
You should hear me when I'm talking about something like I'm saving up for or something because I could go on a tangent for like half an hour on one part of it. Yes, but before we get too carried away, I wanted you to tell us about where we could follow you, your information,
Oh,
and
all right. So you can follow me on all the social media platforms. I have a fan page on Facebook, Carl Gilliard, like my name. That's unlimited. I have a personal page on Facebook that's Carl R. Gilliard, but it's full. Oh, that must be my. Is that my? Who's putting my website up? Okay, so anyway, that's my website right there. It's GilliardMedia.tv. If you go there, you can find out all things about me. My audition reels and my acting class if you are in Atlanta. Or if you are looking for a private coach, you go to GilliardMedia.tv. You can find me there. I'm on Instagram, Carl Gilliard. You can look at excerpts of my digital series, 2 Degrees, TWO Degrees, the series on Instagram. Got a movie on Hulu right now that you guys can go check out that I was consulting producers with my wife called Remember Me, the Mahalia Jackson story with Lettucey playing Mahalia Jackson. Am I forgetting anything? Facebook, Twitter, Carl Gilliard at Twitter. My last name at Twitter. So you can get to me any of those places. Inbox me, write me, share my content. Oh, and of course, we cannot forget the podcast.
yes, you cannot.
You can't, man. It's how do I know you on YouTube? But at Carl Gilliard. So if you go to YouTube at Carl Gilliard, I want you to please somebody's. Is this my wife on here?
No, it's me. It's me.
Okay. Okay, that's okay. I'm like, she just like all quick on the stuff. Because that's how she is. She's like quick. All right. Anyway, all right. So anyway, it's not my wife. It's you, Jalen. Yeah. So the you got that right there in the chat. That is my podcast. I also have a podcast. It's called Twice Married Brother Presents, but I haven't really worked that one as much. Twice Married Brother. And that's when I talk about relationships, about marriage. You're too young for that, Jalen. You ain't got to follow me, okay? You don't, just chill, just do your thing. And then in about 25, 30 years, you can give me a call. I give you some advice. But that is for primarily men who are, going through something. And I just gotta bleed on that page a little bit, let people see the blood, and say, you know what? I am not gonna bleed like that guy did. I'm gonna let him bleed, but I'm gonna learn from the blood that man has shed. So that's what Twice Married Brothers about.
Well, thank you for coming on, because I mean, we have to talk more often.
Okay.
You seem just so wow, man. All right.
Anytime, Jalen. Give me a call anytime, man. Okay. Where you going to school? You going to school in Atlanta? What part of town you live in, and where you go to school?
Can't give that out on live.
Oh,
but,
I'm sorry. Okay. Well,
but
are you getting A's? Are you all A's? All A's?
I've been homeschooled since second grade. I think
Okay.
my mom's finally letting me go back. Maybe.
Okay.
I'm not sure though. But it's
So you
fine.
want to go back? So it's about you. Then you want to go back, right?
I mean, I could really have it either way, but I guess it's more social, I guess, because
Yeah.
normally I
Yeah.
just talk to people, like I meet like 10 people once every year or so at events, and it's like they're really nice people, but it's only 10 people every year, so
Right. Well, that's cool.
yeah,
That can add up eventually.
yeah. Like in a couple of years, there'll be 100 people.
Hey, that's good.
Can you say you have 100 friends? I mean,
I got a lot of friends.
yeah, I know you do.
My
You
my
seem
my
really
mom
likable.
my mom says something that's true because only a mother can tell you the truth about yourself. My mother says that I have never lost a friend. That's my mother because it's true. I mean, I won't say I've never lost a friend. I've had people, get pretty mad at me and walk away. But basically, I don't. It's like once I'm your friend, and I'll call you, I'll check on you, and we maintain fellowship over years. I just don't. I just keep friends. So yeah,
Yes. Well, thank you for coming on, and I really
my pleasure.
And I'll call you after the live is over, or you could stay in the link after I do my outro.
Okay, you got it. I'll stay in the link for a second. Then I gotta go to the bathroom. Is that too much information?
Not at all. Not at all.
Okay, cool. I'm 65. Okay, so I never let a bathroom go to waste, Jalen. Never let a bathroom go to waste.
All right. I'll remember that one. Well,
This is not going to be a good show for you. I'm so sorry. I'm so silly, but I love talking to you, man. I love clowning young people. So this is just me. I just love because when I was growing up, I was your age. I had uncles who clowned me all the time, and it was so much fun. So I've enjoyed talking to you. I appreciate you having me on. Keep going, man. Just don't give up. Okay.
well, we'll do. Thank you, and I mean, I can't wait for that show to come out. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch 2 Degrees as well. So
Yeah, 2 Degrees is it's on the Brick TV. I'm gonna put it into the chat, but it is not necessarily for children, but it's not horrible. So that's where does that come from? Where did that come? Did you put that into the Brick TV? Did you do that?
why would I do that? That wasn't me. No.
That wasn't okay. I'm
No,
confused. So
definitely.
in the chat, so are these all you? Or are they other people too?
No, there's other people, but I definitely didn't post that. Don't think about it. Don't look at the name of it at all, because that wasn't me. That was
No, I don't mind. I'm just interested. I'm trying to
no,
understand the technology.
no,
Okay.
You'll find out. You'll find out one day.
I find out one day. Okay, cool. So yeah, so somebody put that up. But the show's on the big TV. It's 2 seasons. The first season, we did it on like such a low amount of money. You there? Hello?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry, it's just
Okay. Yeah. Such a low amount of money. And then the second season, we had a little bit more money. So the second season looks a little better, but both seasons are entertaining. I think they are, and I think you'll enjoy it. And I hope that if you're watching, you go check out the Brick TV and watch the series, and let me know what you think of it, and make sure that the Brick knows that you watched it and that you enjoyed it. That's very important too.
Okay, we'll do.
Yeah.
But thank you for coming on. I mean, you have a lot of. You're just really fun guy to talk to. Wow. Wow, man. All right, but
Appreciate you, man.
thank you. I could probably have this thing going for another 30 minutes, but thank you so much. I really appreciate
Thank you,
it.
Jalen. My
Yes.
pleasure, sir.
Yes. And thank you to the audience out there watching live. I really appreciate it, guys. I really appreciate all the support you give me. Make sure you like, subscribe, share it with your friends. I really appreciate it. We're close to hitting 600 subscribers. Wow, because the last time I checked, we were like, wait, I need to check something because wow, we had a boost. But thank you guys so much. Thank you for just watching, sharing it. I really appreciate it. And also, I have a couple auditions coming up, so pray for me. Hopefully, I'll get it. And yeah, just thank you guys so much for all your support. A lot of new videos coming out. Gonna do some editing for some stuff that just recently happened, so expect that soon. And just guys, stay tuned. Peace. I love you guys.